Hey, what's up guys? It's Edward Muñoz from UnleashYourChampion.com. And today's video is called, What Decision Are You Ready to Birth? You see, most people postpone making decisions. But if they only knew that the decision will set them free. And what do I mean by that? Well, in the moment that you make a decision, a firm decision to move forward no matter what, in that moment, you just altered your life and your universe. Think about it. You know, if you go back 3 years ago, 5 years ago, what decision that you make in the past that you are benefiting or reaping the rewards from today? In that moment, it may have seemed insignificant. You know, you probably were hanging out with some friends, or maybe you were at an event. I don't know where you were, but in that moment, you made a decision. Something happened, something triggered. There was a level of inspiration, and in that moment, you said, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. And you probably said it with certainty, because if you don't step into a state of certainty, then your body is not going to believe it. Your body must be in alignment with your head. These are the thoughts, and your body is the emotional being. Your emotional being must make a connection with your brain. So when you step into a space of certainty when you make a decision, then your whole being is triggered and inspired to move forward with velocity. Anyway, let me get back to the point. So you made a decision 3 years ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago to do something. And if you pursued it and you stuck with it, you are still reaping the rewards today. So today we're going to discuss things that you can do to inspire you to make more decisions, a few criteria that you can put in place so you can make better decisions and make them more often. Because most people, including you and including me, we postpone the tough decisions. We postpone it and postpone it and postpone it. Then 6 months later, we are divorced. Then 3 years later, we're 80 pounds overweight. You know, then 4 years later, you know, I don't know, you still owe money to the IRS or credit cards or whatever the case would be. I'm just picking things random from the air. So now let me share with you a few criteria that you can actually use when making decisions. Okay, here's number one. Number one, decide to stay empowered. Because if you choose to be an athlete, if you choose to write a book, if you choose to make $200,000 within your sales career or your network marketing profession or whatever the case may be, or maybe you want to make $1 million or $10 million or $50 million within your company. Who knows? Maybe you want to take your company to that level. Whatever the case may be, you're going to have to stay empowered to reach that goal. So make a decision today, right now, this very moment, to do whatever it takes, WIT, whatever it takes, as long as it is ethical and moral, to whatever it takes to stay empowered. Because trust me, you will have many obstacles and challenges and problems, and things will go wrong again and again and again and again and again. And one of the best definitions I heard about success is that success is going from failure to failure without losing your enthusiasm. You will lose it from moment to moment, but it's your job to stay empowered and to keep yourself energetic and to keep stepping into states of certainty. So decide to stay empowered throughout your journey. Okay, that's one of the first criteria that I wanted to share with you. You have to choose. You have to decide to stay empowered on a constant basis. Number two, decide to decide. I know that sounds simple. What do you mean, Edward? Decide to decide. Yeah, decide that you are constantly going to be making decisions. You see, some of those decisions will go horribly wrong. And the only way you will know if they go horribly wrong is if you actually make the decision to do what you got to do. Either it will go horribly right or it will go horribly wrong. But guess what? Either way you learn, and either way is a stepping stone to go to the next level. And to further illustrate this point, let me share a story with you that I first heard from Tony Robbins at a live event. Tony Robbins shared that he was at a dinner with several generals. And during the day, he had given a speech to all of their officers. So he gave a speech on leadership and empowerment and influence, everything that he's good at. Well, during the dinner, one of the generals approached him and said, "Hey, Tony, today you spoke about the power of decisions. I thought that was pretty darn good." He goes, "Yeah, thank you. And I think I did pretty well myself. But I want to share with you something that I also learned about decisions." He goes, "Please do, by all means. You're a 3-star general, so, you know, share with me. I'm always looking to collect stories so I can share with my audiences around the world." He goes, "Good." He says, "You know, when I first became a 2-star general, you know, I went into my office that day, and there were several decisions that were pending from the previous general. So I started looking at the paperwork, a few contracts that I had to negotiate, because as generals, you know, we always are negotiating governmental contracts. Well, you know, I was looking at the contracts and I was looking at the paperwork, and there was one folder that had a date from 7 years before. So I called in my lieutenant and I said, "Hey, Louis, come over here." "Yes, sir." You know, the Louis said to the general, "Hey, Louis, what's this? He goes, oh, sir, that's a government contract, and they've been trying to get it approved now for 7 years. And every general that steps into this office puts it to the side and puts it to the side and puts it to the side. Nobody has said yes or no, and they are waiting for an answer. So the general opened the folder. He goes, Louis, don't leave yet. Some generals call Lieutenant Louis. So he's looking through the folder. He's reading the government contract. It's about $5 million. He read the synopsis and what it was about and what they wanted. Probably about 30 pages. But he just skimmed through it. He says, hey, Lieutenant, approved. He goes, sir, you are approving the $7 million contract? You didn't even go through it, with all due respect. Sir! That's the way they speak in the military. He was a bit intimidated. He goes, Lieutenant, it's approved. Done deal. Don't bring it up again. And Tony Robbins said, you mean people were putting off making a decision to approve that government contract for 7 years? You just skimmed through it and you said yes. Why did you do that? He goes, number one, they were persistent. Anyone who persists for that long must really want it. That's the first thing. And number two, when it comes to making decisions, you have to collect as much information as possible. There was a lot of information in there. Number two, you have to review the outcomes and the consequences. I reviewed the outcomes that they promised, and I, in my head, I looked at a few of the consequences that could possibly come from that. But based on all of that data, I decided to go with it. So I will find out 3 months from now or 1 year from now if it was a bad decision. But hey, somebody had to make a decision, so I'm the one that stepped in and made the decision. And Tony Robbins says, pretty interesting. You know, other generals were just letting it sit there and sit there and sit there and sit there and collect dust, and you just came and stepped in and made a decision. And that is the power of making a decision. You have to make it. You don't know. You don't know if it's going to be a good decision or bad decision. Of course, you can evaluate the consequences. You have to do some research. You have to look at the possible outcomes. You know, you have to analyze, will it benefit me? Will it benefit others in my circle? You have to analyze all that information. But once you analyze that information, you have to say yay or nay, yes or no. Pull the trigger and move forward. Because if you don't, then you're going to spend the rest of your life in the same position. People fall into analysis paralysis when it comes to decisions. They postpone, and do nothing with it. And the longer you postpone, the more you sink into that comfort zone. And lastly, you should make your decisions based on future goals and future dreams. What most people do is that they make decisions based on the past. Based on their past failures, based on everything that went wrong in the past. Come on, man. Step it up. Cut it out. Come on, be a grown man. Be a grown woman. Step up. Man up. Come on, bro. This is time for you to say, hey, what happened, happened. It's in the past. Show me your past. I don't see my past. You look into your past. Do you see your past? Past doesn't exist. You can't touch it. You can't feel it. It's here because you keep reliving it, talking about it. Come on, man. Stop entertaining the past. Make decisions based on where you want to be in the next 3 months, 6 months, 24 months, 5 years. Your decisions should be based on that. If you man up, step up, raise your standard, trust me, you will make more decisions. Some of them will not be the best ones, but you will only find out over time. As long as you evaluated what I shared before, the outcomes, the rewards, will it benefit me, will it benefit others, and compile enough data, then at that point you can say, yes, I'm moving forward, or no, I am not. But do not be in the middle lukewarm. Because when you are lukewarm in the middle, you are in your comfort zone. And you cannot produce outrageous results in your comfort zone. You already know that. You already know that you cannot produce out of this world results hanging around in your comfort zone. So, here's my invitation. Make a decision today that you have been postponing. Before you go to sleep, before you lay your head to rest, make a decision. And when you make that decision, make sure that you are in a place of certainty. Make sure that you feel it in your heart. It makes sense up here. It might not make sense 100% because, of course, you're going to be a little scared. But if it makes sense in your heart, you know it's the right thing to do. Even if you're scared, make the decision to move forward in that area of your life. And just watch the rest unfold. Of course, you're not going to sit back. You're going to take massive action. You're going to take crazy, insane action. It's going to require a crazy, insane work ethic. But you will look back 3 years from now and you will say, wow, it was worth it. It was worth it. Well, that's all I got to share for now. Hopefully you have enjoyed this video, and hopefully I was of value to you and your life today.